Welcome to ODI, everyone. I'm Andy Norton. I'm the Director of Research for ODI, and we're delighted to have for this event, looking at Libya and broader implications and lessons that can be drawn from recent events in Libya, a fantastic panel headed by our keynote speaker for today, of course, Paddy Ashdown. I will leave the longer introductions to Ian Black, who will be chairing the event. Just a couple of words before we go in. It seemed for a month or two that Libya had largely dropped from the headlines, but in the last week it's been very much back, with events both at the level of the NTC, with the resignation of its vice head, and also, of course, recent events in Bani Walid as well. I think for a lot of us, Libya, part of a broader set of issues around the Arab Spring that have changed the way, or challenged us to change the way we think about politics and political change. So I'm delighted to hand over at this point to Ian Black, who is the Middle East editor of The Guardian, and who has also knows the region very well and has written extensively about recent events, and also, I believe, at one point was based in the Middle East as The Guardian's Middle East correspondent. So without further ado, I will hand over, and we're all very much looking forward to this event, and many thanks to all our panelists. Ian.
Thank you very much. Good morning. I hope you can all hear me. I've got a very, very strict set of instructions here as how to manage this event. It's going to be very tight and very brisk and no nonsense. And I'll just say a few words about my own perspective on this, then hand over to Paddy Ashdown, and then to Joost from the International Crisis Group. My own involvement in Libya goes back over many years. I've been visiting since about the mid-1980s. So when I went back this year for the first time in March, a few weeks into the uprising and just before the NATO intervention began, it was an extraordinary and novel situation. It was, I confess, quite thrilling to return shortly after the fall of Tripoli in August. For the first time ever in all those years, it was possible simply at the human level, journalists, human beings, whatever, just to talk to people, talk to ordinary Libyans, and get a sense, really for the first time ever, that they were able to speak reasonably freely. And that really was an exhilarating moment. I remember going to the University of Tripoli. It's recently been renamed. It had always been the great Fatah University, it's one of the names of the Libyan revolution, and talking to academics who said, look, you know, we've been teaching absolute nonsense really for 40 years because we had no choice. And now this is an amazing opportunity for our country and for a whole generation of people who have known nothing other than the wacky and wonderful system of Gaddafi's Jamahiriya, the state of the masses. So I personally found it exciting and exhilarating to be there, but very quickly the harsh light of reality revealed, not surprisingly, that there were a huge set of problems facing this country. And in the 3 months I've just calculated since I was last there, which was around Gaddafi's killing in October, we've seen quite a lot of evidence of the sort of the kind of challenges that Libya faces for the future, whether it's the issue of security, which I think we'll be hearing quite a lot about from Joost, or the issue of governmental capacity, or the complex politics of working out a transition from the Jamahiriya to some kind of multi-party democratic system. The Libyans have a huge amount on their plates. My one observation from outside Libya is that there is a tremendous amount, perhaps an unprecedented amount, of international goodwill towards Libya, resulting from the, I think we would agree, the unique circumstances of the intervention. So, and one last point, perhaps. I think until the crisis, the uprising this year, and the UN role and the NATO intervention, a lot of what relatively little foreign attention had been paid to Libya had been through the prism of external, particularly Western interests. In this country alone, we can all think of Libyan references, the buffoonish figure of Gaddafi, the issue of terrorism, Lockerbie, and so on and so forth. And we knew relatively little really about Libya, the country, the people, the society. After the extraordinary events of the last year, I think there is a very welcome change of perspective, of prism, to look at Libya from the ground upwards with its own very many problems and challenges, and not through the more traditional prisms of viewing it. So I think without further ado, I'll hand over to Paddy Ashdown, as he wants to be called, and we will keep to a very strict timetable of 20 minutes for him, then some comment, and I'm not quite sure where Joost fits into this because you're not in my schedule, but I'm sure we'll work something out. Okay, Paddy, thank you.